Hi, this is Tanveer Mohammed Masood once again, and today I'm going to talk on another important topic. And the theme of this talk is basically surrounded around the American dream of every individual, the dream to make it to the land of United States that a person has, that every budding individual has behind him. And this is the theme of this talk, the Great American Dream. And is it based on the greed or the crave for a better life by an individual? And that was, or rather, that is the main theme of the latest Hollywood thriller, which is indeed played by Leonardo DiCaprio in the form of Jordan Belfort, who is basically a Wall Street trader and who is basically seen to be applying all the permutations and combinations that he has behind him, and he uses all his skill and professional nitty-gritties to earn money, and at times by employing certain crude means to make both ends meet out there in Wall Street. Now, before I go further into the um, nitty-gritties of this movie, I need to find out, or rather, I need to delve into what exactly goes within the mind of an individual who wants to make it to the Wall Street, or who wants to make it to the United States or any alien land out there, like United Kingdom or Canada or Australia for that matter. Why exactly is a person driven by this phenomena, or by this obsession to make it to the United States or United Kingdom, or for that matter Australia, Canada, or even to the Middle East like Dubai or Abu Dhabi or UAE for that matter? Generally, it is seen that people out here in the subcontinent, like that, from India, Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Southeast Asia or Asian countries, always has rather have this desire behind him to make it to the United States at times, to make it to the United Kingdom, to London, England, to Britain for that matter, to go to Australia for that matter, or go to Dubai, Abu Dhabi for that matter. Now, what exactly are the reasons? Now, if we try and find out, we would certainly come to see that the first and foremost reason would be the educational background of that person. If a person is a professional, a budding professional, has his good qualification behind him, he has this um, academics behind him, who has this past experience behind him, professional enough, educated enough, and who has got all the educational and professional ingredients of to an alien land, he certainly seemed to be a very prospective candidate of professional who can indeed earn a living out there. And this is one of the most important and the most foremost reason that is basically seen to be running behind this tradition, behind this phenomenon of migrating to some other part of the world. What we see is that individuals study very hard enough during his academics. When he goes on to pursue his higher studies, he tries to make sure that his hard work, his effort, and all his hard exertion that he gives behind his higher studies always bears fruit. And at the end, he always wants to make it to some alien land, to a more prosperous land, which is basically seen to be in the form of that of United States or UK, or for that matter, oil-rich Middle East countries like Abu Dhabi or, for example, Dubai. These are the favorite destination for budding individuals these days, who have their academics behind them, who have those professional qualifications that can meet all the ingredients of a successful professional who can indeed make a living out there in the Wall Street, or for that matter in Dubai, or for that matter in Middle East countries. Therefore, all in all, what we see is that a person who has his academics intact, he's seen as a budding individual to make it to United States or to NYAC and work there in NYAC, or for that matter work in United Kingdom or Canada or Australia or even in Middle East countries. So all in all, but we see is that United States, in fact, UK, Australia, Canada, or even Middle East countries are the favorite hub wherein individuals having good qualifications are trying to make it out there. Apart from this, we have also noticed that there are certain professionals who are working in subcontinent presently who start up their career in their home country and who try and acquire a great deal of experience out here by working as professionals for that matter, and they are the one who are seen to be another budding professionals who can indeed make a living out there in some alien line like USA, UK, Australia, or Middle East countries. Now, another factor behind this trend is the past tradition. There is this tradition of certain rich people who have migrated, who have this tradition of making to Middle East countries, who have this tradition of going to United States, UK, even to Australia for that matter, since their forefather have gone to study abroad, who have gone to make their living abroad, who have these families abroad at times, always try and make it to such countries, since this is their past tradition, this is what their fathers, their forefathers and ancestors have been doing this. They had their relatives out there, they had good contacts out there, and they can create a good rapport where they can send their descendants and they can easily make a living out there because they have gotten a good rapport out there, and they need not to fend for themselves once they reach that land. And at the end of the day, what they find is that they are quite comfortably settled after possessing a good qualification out here, after studying a little out here, and what they find is that they are indeed in a win-win situations by virtue of the fact that the fathers and forefathers have this tradition of migrating, of having good contacts out there with the individuals who are already settled out there. Therefore, contacts, past traditions of fathers and forefathers are another factor behind this trend of individuals going to countries like Middle East and even to United States or UK for that matter. And another trend what we have noticed in this phenomena is that there's this tradition, as I already said, that there's this tradition of fathers and forefathers have migrated since. So their sons, their kids would also go on to do the same thing. This is the tradition. And another tradition what we notice is that there's this tradition of communities like Christians. Christians always think that they will always one day make it to the United States, one day they will make it to any other Christian countries like Australia or, for example, Canada. Christians out here in subcontinent or Southeast Asia, for example, have this thinking behind them, that they have this anxiousness behind them that one day they would certainly try and make it to the United States or any Christian countries. Same with Muslims out here in the subcontinent always try to make Dubai their home country and at their second country. For example, Middle East nations are their favorite hub, and Dubai, I've thought, is one of the most favored hubs. Apart from that, United Kingdom, Britain, England, Australia, and in United States at times is another favorite hub of theirs. Educated Muslims coming from subcontinent or Asia, Southeast Asia, have always tried to make Dubai their second home, and even, as I said, UK is another favorite destination of theirs. Now, at times, what we have seen is that people who migrate to countries like UK, USA, or for that matter to any other Middle East countries, they go on to settle themselves out there, even go on to marry with the citizens of that country, and this is how this whole process begins. In one generation after another generation, this They say one after another, they go on to migrate, and this is how a real contact is created. At the end of the day, what we have come to notice is that religious and cultural tradition is another issue or factor behind this trend or phenomenon of people migrating or even trying to uh, study abroad or make a living abroad at times. Since these people find that their culture, their religion, their ethos, their faith are basically more valued and appreciated in countries like UK, USA, or even to Middle East countries. At times, Muslims of a subcontinent find that Dubai is more Muslim friendly. For if I could put that, in that culture, the ethos can be preserved or can be carried out in a more peaceful and in a more sensible manner, and wherein they can earn living out there properly. Uh, Same way, Jews and Christians of subcontinent think that UK, USA, Australia, or Israel for that matter, would be a favorite destination of theirs, and wherein they can preserve, they can carry out their cultural tradition in a more better way rather than in this subcontinent or any Asian countries. Well, as far as Muslims are concerned, Indonesia and Malaysia is another favorite destination of theirs. Indonesia is considered to be the largest Muslim populated country in the world. No matter we have Pakistan, we have other Middle East countries like Dubai, we have Abu Dhabi, for example, UAE, which has states like Dubai under it, has this another largest hub of Muslims migrating at times, trying to make the living out there, not as a permanent settler, but as a temporary worker employees at times. This happens because we have at times they get a little support back home as far as financial, educational, or professional support is concerned. They have little support back home in their own country. That's the reason why they always try to make a living in some other part of the world wherein they have good contacts by virtue of their religious faith or culture for that matter, by way of their ancestors, their forefathers, their parents, at times who have already tried their luck out there. They always try and make sure that since their fathers and forefathers have tried this, why shouldn't they try out? For few, this is a status symbol. People try and try to educate themselves, try to make a living out there in some other parts of the world abroad, just because it's something to do with their status. If they try living out there just because they think that it's a matter of great pride, honor, and it's basically about got to do something with status of their family of that person who always try to make it to that part of the world because they think it's got to do with their status, and since they need to upgrade their status, they would always try and make a living in other parts of the world. Now, if we come back to professionals or educated individuals back home in the subcontinent, we would find that they find it a little simple, very easy to make it to countries like US or, for that matter, work there out there in Wall Street or even to Middle East countries, just because our government has this economic collaboration, certain economic treaties are in there that basically facilitates their work, their migration to that part of the country, wherein they can work very comfortably, since their government, their back home, has facilitated this by way of peace treaties, for example, by way of economic and financial collaborations and treaties that basically entails that this part of individuals from this part of the world can go back, or rather can work to that part of the world, and work very comfortably without any problem whatsoever. The concept of outsourcing in information and technology has come as a boon for such people. We have IT companies and giants like Wipro, IBM, Genpactor, who have several treaties and collaborations, and they have their service center, offshore and onshore service center out there in other parts of the world, which basically facilitates the movement of professionals from this part to that part of the world. Now, another issue that we see in all these nitty-gritties of migrating to the other parts of the world, or even to moving from one part to another part. As far as the United States is concerned, what we have seen is that post 9/11, Muslims are feeling a little apprehensive in going to that part of the world, though we have certain Muslim educated professionals who always who have never ever got deterred by such an incident of terrorist attack or any such issues of violence that have taken place wherein their community have come under fire. But of late, it has been noticed that Muslims are generally avoiding USA because of security concerns, because of certain issues might crop up just because of their community. But no matter, we have several Muslims who are settled out there in the United States, no matter what has been the fallout of 9/11. But yes, post 9/11, Muslims are generally trying to avoid the United States, or and trying to make their living out there in other parts of the world, like for example in Australia, in UK, or even to Middle East countries like in Abu Dhabi, to or Dubai, for example. Now, if you come back, or rather, if I come back to the theme of this talk, the Great American Dream. That is basically a movie that has been played out by Leonardo DiCaprio. What you find is that a person who is not a professional, who is basically a literal layman, who is basically a citizen of that country, or rather, who's basically an American, who tries to make out his living out there, and he's the one who tries to make a living like some finance individual. A professional who wants to make a living out there in the Wall Street is often coaxed or tempted by things like easy money, sex, drugs, and other evil behind the glitters gold, or rather behind the glitters of one of the richest country of the world.